Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I'm Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. This is gonna be a huge episode. We have so many amazing things to go over. There's plenty of new information coming out for some of the most highly anticipated upcoming VR games. There's a potential new headset on the way, updates to some of the existing games that we know and love, and even some new game announcements. So I'm really excited for this episode. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. There are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my sponsor, Kiwi Design. Kiwi has accessories for all of your favorite headsets, and they finally started releasing some new products for the Quest 3. On screen, we have their brand new extra comfy Quest 3 Elite Strap. I've been using head straps from Kiwi for years now, and they're hands down my favorite. There's a link to Kiwi down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support my channel. Okay, so let's start this video off like normal with the check-in, and that's what exactly have I been up to in the VR world. And unfortunately, I have to say nothing. Jack shit is what I've been doing. If you guys follow me on other social media platforms, you'll know I've had COVID this week, and I've just been on my ass useless. It makes me absolutely depressed. I hate when I can't function. I was really upset that I couldn't cover things. There were a lot of things I wanted to go over last week that I just couldn't get to. And additionally, I couldn't even play video games this week. That's how shot I was. So I'm still just getting over it. You could probably hear it in my voice. I'm not happy. I missed a lot. I really wanted to put out some content. So if you guys want to make me feel better, just throw this video a thumbs up, maybe drop a comment. That'll help. It goes a long way. So unfortunately, nothing. But this week I am coming back strong. We're gonna have a live stream where we go over tons of new games. There's lots of information, but I have plenty of new videos planned for this week. Exciting stuff. So if you're new here, please subscribe and turn those notifications on. But let's just get into this week's new releases, starting with Downtown Club. At launch, the game features 3 hatchback cars, all available in a standard or sports version. There's multiple different gameplay modes available, including a free drive mode where you could just chill out and explore the map. And in a future update, they're planning to release new game modes, cars, maps, and even online multiplayer. But if you're like me and not really into racing games, let's move on to Virtual Blacksmithing. Blackforge, a smithing adventure, will put you in the shoes of a legendary blacksmith. With the help of your mystical forge, you'll be crafting mighty weapons and impeccable tools. So rather than just creating 1,000 daggers in Skyrim VR, why not try some actual blacksmithing in Blackforge, a smithing adventure? Now next up, we have a game that was originally scheduled to release in May, but has been delayed until June, and that is Taskmaster VR. Based on the quirky TV show that I've never even seen or heard of, but now anyone could be a contestant on that show and be forced to complete a wide array of different tasks. Now taking a look at the trailer, I have absolutely no idea what I'm really getting into. It could be anything from a series of lame minigames, all the way to unique challenges and some funny storytelling. So I'll definitely keep an eye on this one, but I don't think it's really my style. Now on that topic, the next game does look like it's up my alley, but also has a really terrible looking trailer. Neon Squad Tactics features some turn-based combat similar to that of Demio, but instead of fantasy, we're jumping into a sci-fi cyberpunk style world. Before each mission, you need to strategically plan on what equipment to take, plus what squad members have the best abilities for the task at hand. There's also a full progression system with 4 tiers of powers, and this game is starting to remind me of XCOM, which I absolutely loved, but I just hope it plays better than it looks in the trailer. And finally, the story-driven puzzle title Retropolis 2 is making its way onto the PlayStation VR 2 this week. I've spoken about this game many times before. It features a beautiful handcrafted art style, a charming world to explore that continues exactly where the first game left off, and plenty of clever puzzles to experience. So if you own a PlayStation VR 2 and this is your type of game, go check this one out. Now if you're not looking to pick up any new games right now, how does a major update to Blade and Sorcery sound? After 5 years in early access, this game is finally getting its full release with what they're calling the End Update. Now, the end sounds a little ominous. You might be thinking, well, the game's dead now, that's it. No, there's definitely some good things here. Not only is this update giving us tons of new content to check out and what looks like boss fights and even more of a single player campaign, but it's also going to be a point where going forward, all they really do to the game is just give you like little patches, stabilization stuff, minor improvements, but no more real content. The good side of that is all the mods that we know and love won't break anymore. They're not doing anything like under the hood that should break mods going forward, and they'll just slightly improve the game. But honestly, This has been an amazing VR title for so long, and I'm so happy to see them get to a full release on this one. So if you haven't checked out that clip, check it out. And if you are a fan of Blade and Sorcery, this is coming on June 17th. But let's move on to some other awesome announcements. Now, another amazing VR game that's also getting a major update is Bonelab. Roughly a year since the game originally released, we're now getting Quest 3 specific enhancements, massive improvements to the game's physics, and updates to their SDK to vastly improve modding capabilities. Briefly going through these improvements, the player rigs have been updated, which vastly improve interactions with the world around you. There's also tons of additional changes that improve everything from performance all the way to general bug fixes. And finally, there's massive improvements for those of you who like to download or create your own mods for this game. So it looks like it's time for me to jump back into Bonelab. But if that's not your style and you're looking for a stealth experience, well, Hitman 3 VR Reloaded has been announced for the MetaQuest headset. If you were a fan of the Hitman series and got all hyped up when the game was announced for the PlayStation VR, only to eventually be disappointed as this was a pretty rough port. Well, there's definitely some good news here because the title's being completely rebuilt for VR this time. No more crappy controls or button press interactions. This time it's going to be a true VR experience. They're also apparently changing the overall graphic style to more of a cel-shaded experience, which I do personally think works really well in VR, but I feel like this decision was not made for the aesthetics and more to help the performance on standalone headsets. Now I'm curious how you guys feel about this. Are you pumped for Hitman to be reworked and come to the MetaQuest? Please let me know down in the comments. But for now, let's move on to another really awesome story. Previously, I mentioned Riven, the sequel to Myst, is coming to VR, but now we know it's coming much sooner than we thought. This stunningly beautiful puzzle title will be available on June 25th. The footage they show off is looking drop dead gorgeous, and even the MetaQuest version is looking pretty damn impressive. So if you're a fan of Myst or just puzzle games in general, definitely go ahead and put this game on your wish list. Now, in even cooler updates, we just got a new trailer for Batman Arkham Shadow, plus plenty of additional information for Alien Rogue Incursion. Starting with Batman, there are a handful of gameplay clips that do look pretty damn good, and the new trailer definitely has me intrigued, but I will say ultimately it was a disappointment. Batman was initially announced with a teaser trailer that said, hey, wait for the Summer Game Fest to see more. Then the Summer Game Fest just gives us more CGI, and once again tells us to wait for Gamescom to see the actual gameplay. Now, I know this is a bit of hype building on Meta's part, but I can't help but feel like we're being strung along, as we're yet to actually see a game that's only a few months away from release. Now, a similar experience is also happening with Alien Rogue Incursion, and I wanted to get on screen to discuss this one with you. Recently, IGN had an interview with one of the members from Survios to discuss this game, and he expressed how he had to stay on point. He couldn't really reveal a lot of things, which is reminding me of the press before their Walking Dead game came out. Now, there was a lot of things that they were coy about and didn't go into detail. And then when the game came out, obviously, you guys know it wasn't a very successful game. I'm starting to get some of those feelings again, but also some of this sounds absolutely amazing. Now, let's start with the good. They said they're working a ton on the Alien AI system. So basically, you can hunt the aliens. This is not a hide and seek game. You're going to be bringing the fight to them, but they're also very clever and will adapt to you. So if you're running around all loud, they use the example, you're basically ringing the dinner bell. They're all going to pop out of different spots and try and take you out. So if you're a little bit more stealthy, you know, the battle is completely different, making it a high replayability because depending on your play style, the game will be completely different. As they say, we'll see it in practice. Now, where things go a little sideways is they express this is designed for, you know, bite-sized sessions, you know, small experiences, which almost gave people the feeling of, oh no, is this like a roguelike dungeon experience? Like we're just going to go through a map here, maybe a 20-minute session, and then be like, okay, that was my dynamic level and I'll come back for more later. It didn't really sound good here, and they didn't go into much detail. Now, bite-sized experiences is actually good for me. If I could feel like I accomplished something in 45 minutes to an hour, that's really cool if I'm making progress. But if it does go the roguelike route, we're so sick of that in VR. So I'm hit and miss on this one. I'm still really excited. I love the atmosphere. The graphics look great. I don't know why the frames always look terrible in their footage. That is rough. Why the frame rate is so low, I don't know. Really, they should be able to capture some good footage. I don't know what's going on there, Regardless, I'm skeptical on this one. I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's put it at that, and let's just move on. Now, I have one more quick little game update before we move into new hardware information. If you're looking for something free to try out, Copter Strike VR recently went free to play from the Meta App Lab. This is an arcade-style helicopter experience with a large array of gameplay modes, ranging from copter racing to large-scale PvP matches, and even a co-op zombie outbreak mode. So if you're looking for a new free game to play, go check out Copter Strike VR. Now, I'm starting to feel like today's news is information overload, so I'm going to rapid fire through the last couple topics. The main one is going to be updates coming to the Meta Quest. Version 66 is currently rolling out, and one of the biggest aspects is pass-through is getting even better. One of the major issues you'll see with pass-through is there's a lot of warping whenever you're close to your headset or just moving fast, as the headset does take multiple different camera images and just combine them together, and that's when you get the warping, when you're going between cameras. So that has seen significant improvements. I've tried it. Yes, it is a big step up. I'm loving how good the pass-through is getting. It just keeps getting better and better. Now, another major update that's coming is just long overdue. Soon we will be able to access Netflix from the regular browser, and we're going to be able to pump up the resolution. The Netflix app on the Quest has been junk forever. I don't know why. I guess Netflix doesn't care about it, but it's been pure junk. Doesn't allow you to crank the resolution. And guess what? Soon we'll just be able to use the browser. It'll work the way we want, and everyone will be happy. Thumbs up there. That's another big one. And finally, MetaConnect was announced for September 25th and 26th. Now, what I expect mainly to hear from that, or what's going to excite me the most, is this is most likely when we're going to get to see the Meta Quest 3S, which just keeps getting leaked recently. That's most likely when they're going to announce the headset and make it available for purchase. So if you're looking to get into VR, if you could hold out till September, you'll probably save some money, as long as you're okay to accept a little bit of a downgrade from the Quest 3. Hey, listen, options are great. Do you want to go full 500 to get that really awesome pancake lens? Or, you know, maybe that's too much money, doesn't matter to you, and you could go with the Meta Quest 3S, which will most likely be a cheaper version. I don't have any confirmation here, but I'm guessing we'll find out then. Now, speaking of new headsets, we also got some information that Palmer Luckey, the guy who originally gave us Oculus Rift before it was purchased by then Facebook, well, he's working on a new XR headset. Now, based on what happened with the Rift, which was like a revolution for the industry, which got Valve excited and got HTC involved, and, you know, obviously Facebook eventually turned themselves into Meta over this product. So when he's back into it, I'm actually pretty excited to see what he's working on, see what happens. No real information yet, but I'll keep an eye on it. And finally, I'll just end this video with pretty much a duh, told you so. There's another article that came out recently that says John Carmack, back when we were still at Meta, he kept trying to get them to kibosh the Meta Quest Pro. He knew it would be a failure. And duh, I mean, obviously, I think it made sense on paper that this was not going to go anywhere. The price was too high. It didn't line up with the other things they were working for. And ultimately, it didn't deliver the experience that, you know, Meta wants to give us with an XR headset. You know, you want that amazing pass-through. It's something you can wear all day. You can work in it. It has this extra functionality. And honestly, I have one right here. I've spoken about it many times before. I actually hated this device. I use it more now for PC VR because of reasons, but honestly, it didn't deliver. It wasn't capable of what it needed to be. Personally, I think it's, you know, worse than the Quest 2 in certain aspects. Not going to go into detail there. I'm just going to leave this with a duh, and I'd love to hear your comments below. That was today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, thumbs up. As you see, I'm feeling better. It feels great to be back at the channel. Thank you guys for hanging out while I was disappeared for basically a week on my ass, sick with COVID. And I will see you guys multiple times throughout this week because I have a lot to talk about. See you on next time.